about this team was that off the court, camaraderie was high, temperature was good, people liked each other, and then it would like walk on the court, it would be like everyone was sort of like strangers.
Yeah.
How bizarre was that this year? And like, did that add? Obviously, there's a lot of things to be frustrated about, but that specific thing, like that this team could like each other so much on one place and be connected, but then the reason why you're all together happens and you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely one of the most frustrating parts of the season. Is that we never put it together. The spirituality of a team has to be in a certain place in order to, one, win a game, but two, to be in a position where we were right after the All-Star break to, turn it on. I mean, I think if you look at the overall experience of the team, each, individual guy's track record, their story from even when they were playing before the NBA, just the overall grit that we had as a unit. You need a certain spirituality in there, and that was never really talked about. There was never any real structure around what our team looked like. It was just kind of, a bunch of guys that can play, in one setting. It wasn't like, you didn't have a specific role. We didn't ever really get a chance to build that chemistry on the court. Although we had experience, we're a young team. Like a team is, we have nucleus in the league that have been playing together 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, however long. We were a fairly new team. So, I looked at the season as if we had 10 opportunities to get in. I came out here with my hard hat and my backpack. And it was like, we're going to start on this journey. We don't know where it's going to go. But at the end, it's going to be all worth it. And obviously having, I think 40-some starting lineups, injury playing a big part of that, it's just hard to kind of build that, what you need to compete at a high level.
Ken, do you think it would have been possible to take a step back while you're in it to figure things out? Or like, was it, the way Dwight described it, was like, it always felt like there was I think it's a wall you were trying to get over. Yeah. And you started to get over and it just kind of slipped back down. Like, is it, I don't know, like there's a level of accountability that everyone's been speaking about, but was there a level of it couldn't be figured out?
I mean, we play every other day in the month of March, so it wasn't much time to, catch your breath. You play on the plane, and it got to a point. I watched a bunch. I call it fortunate enough. Now, obviously, when you're going through it, it's terrible, but I was able to kind of watch, and there were triggers that would happen almost every game to where we get to this certain point and something happens and then it's boom. We couldn't come out of the half most games. Like we have a stellar first half and the first 6 minutes of the third quarter just freaking. So that goes back to the last point of, spirituality. Like I think when you have a collective, good spirit as a team, collectively, you understand the process. You're on the same page. You're in the same boat. But we all, most guys had their own. Some guys had speedboats. Some guys had pontoons. We're all kind of over the place. And that's just what it is. At this level, you have to have, that spirit that we're playing for something else other than the guy you put in the jersey. We're playing for something else, and we just never able to get to that point this season. And I think that's just it.
Do you think there's any lesson you learned for the league to bring 11? I think it was 11 new players. It ended up being way more than 11 because there were so many guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Onto a roster with the stated goal of a championship, and actually believe that to be realistic.
I mean, yeah, to an extent, but I think where we finish is well below where we could have done had we had some of the other smaller things. Like, I mean, it's the games we were losing. I think we lost to OKC, we lost to Houston, and nothing against those young guys because they're all there playing hard and playing fast. Like we didn't even get to a point to where we could play a game within a game. We go to Houston and we trying to go, up and down, running at them all night. Oh, let's take the air out of the ball. Let's make them take, terrible shots and let's just out execute them. They're young, they're a young team. Like we can beat teams that way. Let them hang around, and we get a couple stops in the middle of the fourth, we go at 15, and that's game. Like we never really got to a point where we started playing, the game within the game. It was just kind of, go out. This night was different. Every night was different. One guy had the ball, and just kind of it's hard to. I mean, I'm sure for you guys, it was kind of hard to see, what direction we were going all season. So. It was just as frustrating sitting over there watching it. Yeah.
To that end, and this might be hard to articulate, but when there's that many vets and guys that have achieved so much, and all of that is happening, is it a little bit difficult too, in just terms of direction, or when you see somebody that's had success and maybe what on the court that day with that group isn't quite the same as what it's been in previous spots for anybody? Like how does that get managed with so many vets that are coming together like that?
I mean, that's a loaded question. I mean, at the end of the day, we didn't get it done, and that may be just saying we don't know as much as we thought we knew individually, or the season just ended, so obviously it's just going to take time to kind of dissect it to that level. But I mean, I just think overall, the spirit it came down to spirit. It just came down to the want, to the lack of unselfishness, like just the small things that you can alleviate to help uplift your team. Like I said, we had. An amazing group of guys, top to bottom. Like I probably spent one-on-one time with, basically everybody on the roster at some point. Great guys, but we just never really, you talked about team. It's never really about. If I don't have it going tonight, I know my teammate got me. I think that's what depth represents. Depth doesn't necessarily mean, oh, he's missed, he's missed, 10 out of his last 12 shots. Let's take him out and put this guy in and start him tonight. That's not what depth is. Like, guys get a rhythm throughout the season. It's a long year. Like it's ebbs and flows. I mean, you can predict something. You can predict, if a guy's gonna play well or not. I mean, I'm a huge golfer, and Scotty Scheffler's killing it on the front nine. I'm like, 10's gonna be a little sketchy. He bogeys 10, and then he picks it back up. That's just how. I mean, it's always it's an ebb and flow to a year, and some people getting in the moment, being in an opportunity. Like for me this year with the summer I had, and I was just ready to just kind of just like inject positive juju into everyone, all my guys, and I tried that all season. I tried that, and you just get worn out, especially when you can't get out there and play with that joy. That stuff's contagious. So, yeah, I mean, I'm rambling a bit, but I ain't really had much time to kind of dissect it either.
We can do therapy. It works.
Yeah.
The news of the day, the first domino of all come out of the season is Frank's no longer the head coach of the Lakers. The spiritual aspect you talk about with the team, how much is that on the head coach, and where is that coming from other?
I mean, I think it's collective. Like I said, all getting in the same boat. There was a point in time in the year where, he would say, "Come on, guys, we have a chance," and it just didn't hold the same. Where the expectation and the energy was so right, but we didn't get anything from it. And, my massage therapist this year, Jared, told me, sometimes the best gifts come wrapped in sandpaper. So that's, you just kind of taking a stride. I'm sure he's going to learn a lot from this moving forward. And like I said, I'm sure we all are, but he's got a championship. He has a good pedigree. And that defensive backbone should take him a long way.
Ken, I want to go back to something you said about triggers, and it sounds like you're talking about, start of the third quarter, or I'm thinking back to like when you guys were giving up big first quarter leads. That's kind of what you're talking about.
Yep, spot on.
I'm sure these things were identified and talked about within the team, but did it feel like kind of looking at the problem and examining it and trying to like set your energy in it to really solve some of those triggers?
Well, yeah, so this is the thing about the NBA. A lot of it is just understanding moments, like knowing how to come out against a team, or knowing what to do on the fly when a team has it going against you. Like, a lot of it just boils down to experience. Like, I've been in the trenches. We had some guys that were out of the rotation that had been through the fire that could have easily been a huge crutch until, some other guys got going. Like, if if you're playing against, Stephen Curry or, one of these guys, and our defense at the beginning of the year was to chase over everything. But, we talk about the game within the game. I played against him. I watched him enough to know when he's a scoring threat coming off the screen, when I can shoot the gap instead of, chasing over him shooting, going under him shooting. Like, just knowing little things like that comes with experience. And I don't think we had that, that kind of IQ on the floor, at all times. So that's where you saw a lot of the, guys that get hot, and then it's like, oh, we just took, 3 straight possessions, 4 straight possessions, a 1-pass shot, 2-pass shot against, a top 7 defense in the NBA, and they're probably really good in transition as well. So, they go on 12-2 run, 8-0 run like that, especially in this game where we're trying to create so many possessions and they're running back at us as well. Like, it's a snowball effect. And that's why you saw, we'll be down 29-13 in the first, or we give up a 44-point third quarter. Like, that's the way you got to look at the game. It's not necessarily defensive breakdowns. It's like, how can we help ourselves? And structure does that. At the end of a game, you put in a defensive unit, but you create offense through structure, through movement, through, we're going to run delay action. We're going to run a wedge roll on the side. We're going to run, coach like to run 5-up triple. That's going to create floor balance, and that's going to create guys knowing where they're going to be. And that's how you stop those things. But if you don't have the IQ on the floor to understand that collectively at the free throw line, hey, let's pull it out. Let's run something real quick. Let's get a good shot. They went on a 6-0 run. Let's just get a good shot. Sometimes that settles you. And then you're able to kind of refoot yourself instead of having to blow, call timeouts, because those are premium too. So, but I don't know, man. I'm just, 10-year vet, 10 years.
We'll blush.
Yeah, it'll work.
Those been one more. I think I asked you about it the first time we talked to you over Zoom, and I said you had to talk to him about it at some point, since you said you spent one-on-one time with all the guys on the team. Do you ever figure out the thing with LeBron where he used to like go at you in past stops? Do you guys ever like talk about it?
No, it's just Russ and I talked about it. But it's just the game. Like, some people bring the best out of you, right? Like, LeBron brought the best out of me. I made a name for myself just by standing up, just like holding my own. He still freaking dominated, but I didn't back down. He scored, I'd be right back in his chest the next play. That's just, and he respects that. We have a respect for one another because I didn't back down and he didn't back down. Russ and I the same way. Russ dumped on me when I was playing here when he was at OKC, and then the next play, I make a layup to go up 4 to ice the game, So, we always got our little banters, man. And that's what I think made this year even more special, is that, being on, the competitive side and, as a teammate, seeing the work that, Bron put in every game, the lifts before the game, the music blast, and how he got his mind right, the joy that he played with, even though the team wasn't, having much success. And, it's an honor, to play with one of the greatest of all time. And it's 2 years in a row for me. Just, Steph won a scoring title last year. Brian, they finished top 3. So I've been able to see two of the, the greatest at the top of their game. So, it's all love on this side. I respect what all these guys have done in this league. It's hard to stay around, past 4 years, but be doing it 19 years, 14 for Russ, most triple doubles in the history, Hall of Famers. You look this way, you got 2 over here, you got another 2 over here. Like, it's crazy, I'm just a grateful kid from California, North Carolina, man, at the end of the day. So just keep, continue to put one foot in front of the other and chop my wood and carry the water.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Mace. Chop wood, carry water.
Yes.